Collective energy check-in. All right, let's see what's going on with the I Don't Care deck. All right, let's see what messages Spirit has. All right, we got do not panic. A lot of green here, so heart chakra energy is significant. And that's what's coming through. I feel like you're the type of person that has a lot of heart. When there's trouble, when there's some type of disarray going on, you can handle the pressure. It's given, this person is scared. For some of you, you may deal with anxiety. But I feel like to me, this is given the opposite. Like you have a lot of heart. Face down here towards the future energy, we got drama free, which came out in reverse. You may have been, put in spiritual situations or spaces that were challenging to deal with, that were discomfortable. 311 could be significant. Let's see what else is coming out. Just the present moment counts, and memories comfort us. So for some of you, this has something to do with your past. This is something within your subconscious, something that I feel like may have to do with some connection in your family or someone close to you. Like you could be the type of person that, you find yourself in the middle of a lot of chaos, in the middle of situations where, there's discomfort, where, there's a lot going on. There's people that want to disturb your peace. There's people that want to take you out of your element. But you're somebody I feel like that knows how to stay grounded. You know how to focus on what counts. Bring your energy back to the present moment. That may be something that's significant. I feel like at some point on your journey, this was something that you had to heal, being in a space of dysregulation because of the discomfort. We got I deserve abundance, which came out face down on do not panic. And so I feel like this is given survival mode. For some of you, you could have been in a space of survival mode, and this is an energy that you're coming out of. We got I dare to declare my love, which came out face down. You could have been involved in situations where people were deprived of that love. They couldn't really give you or fuel you with what it is that you needed. So you had to kind of figure it out on your own. You had to go out in nature. You had to do things that would, put you back on track and connect with your own energy. Because I feel like these people were disconnected. We got please leave a voicemail, which came out face down. And then I also feel like you've learned how to disconnect. And that's one of your strengths, is knowing how to disconnect with please leave a voicemail. You may have a very good sense of imagination where you can tap in to other realms and also kind of like raise your state of mind to where what's going on around you doesn't disturb you so much where you can't still enjoy life. We got sleep on it, which came out in the reverse. To clarify, memories comfort us. All right, and I feel like for some of you, you put this energy to rest. This is like you letting go of this. You disconnecting this energy, no longer interfering with your sleep. But before, I feel like you may have dealt with a lot of insomnia, or you could have been somebody that dealt with nightmares or just really intense dreams that you've learned that you've recovered from. We gotta drink. Cheers. And drinking for some of you may have become one of your coping mechanisms. Take that as it resonates. You may enjoy going to turn up and have a good time. But I feel like that used to be, or could be, one of the ways that you kind of like learn to disconnect or disassociate. We got stand up for yourself and stop doing so much, which both came out next to each other. At one point in your life, I feel like you may have suppressed a lot, with drinking, with disassociation, take it as it resonates. But you got to a space now where I feel like you've taken your power back. We got stand up for yourself, and I feel like this is you, reactivating your throat chakra, speaking up for yourself, doing the things that you need to protect your energy and to establish, your peace of mind, yourself and centeredness. And then we'll stop doing so much. I feel like that's what you've had to learn how to do. For some of you, overstimulation could be significant. And I feel like this is also you regenerating your focus. Like I'm being drawn to the paint right there. So some of you may know how to paint. Some of you may like painting. You could be artists, poets, writers. There's a lot of different things on this picture. But I feel like that's how you've gained your power back, is by putting your energy into things that you enjoy. I feel like that's how you've overcome what once may have been a fear for some of you, anxiety, to you having the heart that I mentioned, in the beginning. You having heart, you being able to deal with a lot. At the bottom of the deck, we have cool, relax, everything is fine. Better alone than in bad company, and back to the basics. So I feel like through all your experiences, it put you in this spiritual awakening where you gained a new self-realization. You gained more clarity and new perspective about things. Is where you realize your shadow. You know, I feel like you realize the energies that you may have had around you that you were entertaining. You came into awareness of those things, and now, you know, it led you back to your truth. It led you back to the basics. It led you back to now what feels like home. Now what restores and refines you is what I'm getting. We got smile, smile more, smile even more. Sometimes I need help and go get some fresh air. You know, and I feel like this is a reflection of what may have been before. You know, keeping it all together, smiling in spite of being the one that may have needed support or needed help. Still being able to smile, still being able to be the one to show up and be helpful, to be a light. But with go get some fresh air, you know, I feel like this is what you've learned how to do. You know, this is the regulation. This is you going into the other realms and returning to your genius, activating your wisdom and clarity, and not allowing, you know, your circumstances or the people around you to make you feel like you failed or to make you feel like you're not enough. So I feel like through the disruption and being in the midst of like chaotic situations, it activated more heart in you. It activated a knowing of your strength. It activated a reconnection to your truth. And it also, I feel like, revealed to you that you're an alchemist. You know, that you're somebody that knows how to operate under pressure. And I accidentally dropped better alone than in bad company on the floor. And I feel like this is a sign of, it also showed you that you know how to rise above. You know, like breaking free. Something I feel like is one of your strengths. You know, you're not meant to be bound. You're not meant to be caged in or confined. And so I feel like that's something that you have embraced over time. And it's activating a new timeline for you that is one of love and one of abundance. The things that were once suppressed in the beginning, you know, that put you in a state of survival mode. So take these messages as it resonates. Whatever doesn't resonate, leave behind. If you made it this far, I appreciate you listening, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.